Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Werq Labs online webinar on the software development lifecycle and software testing. My name is Kiran Kagandre, and with me is my fellow teammate Ankita Trembake.
Hi Kiran, how are you?
I'm fine, Ankita. How are you?
I'm great.
So let's continue. We both work as a software test engineer in the Werq Labs company. I hope everyone has liked the first webinar, that is demystifying API terminology. So we have come up with the second webinar. So today, first we will discuss the key stages of software development. So let us get started with the first step of SDLC, and that is requirement collection. So our journey starts with the requirement collection. Here we understand the client's needs, and the business analyst will collect the requirement in business language. And while coming back to the company, he or she will convert that requirement into software language. Then business analyst ensure client expectation match the development team's understanding. The This stage lays the foundation for the entire project, ensure its success. Then we will go for feasibility meeting, where once the requirements are collected, then we move to the feasibility meeting. Here, various teams such as HR teams, finance teams, or development team and testing team will sit and discuss whether to take the project or not. This step ensure that the project is feasible from both technical and business perspectives, considering factors like profitability, delivery timelines, and the ability to deliver quality software to the clients. After the feasibility meeting is done, then we will go for design phase. After the feasibility meeting is completed, senior architect and junior architect will design the high level design and low level design to outline its structure and functionality. This phase, design phase, provides us blueprint for the development team to follow during coding. After the design phase is completed, we move on to the development phase, where the development team will write the code to develop the software. Here we have to make sure that the software has the uh, good quality. Then this phase this phase is where the actual product starts taking shape based on the outlined requirement and design. After the development phase is completed, then we will go for testing phase, where test engineer ensure that the software is bug free and functions correctly as per the requirement, where testing techniques are employed to identify and rectify any defects in the software. So let's see there are any people uh, available in the chat, and see if they have any questions regarding SDLC.
Okay, so Athira is asking what is the full form of SDLC? Can you answer that, Kiran?
Uh, a full form of SDLC is software development lifecycle, and it is a step-by-step process to develop a software. So further part will be continued by Ankita, and she will explain us about software testing.
Thank you so much, Kiran. So let's understand what software testing is and why we need to do it. So software testing is nothing but the process of identifying the defect in the software so that we can check that if the developed software is working properly as per the customer requirements. So why we need to perform the software testing. So every software is developed to support a business, and if that there are any defects, then it can affect the business itself. So before we use the software for the business, it must be well tested for the defects. Also, we perform software testing to check that the developed software is according to the customer requirements or not. So there are basically two ways that we can perform software testing. First is manual testing, and second one is automation testing. So manual testing, we test the software manually, that is without the using of any tools or any code to in order to find the defect in the software. So second one is automation testing. It is testing the software using tools or script that automatically interact with the software without the human intervention. So here, test engineer will write a script or code by using an automation tool, and that tool will run the script against the application, and that application will automatically test the application and give us the result. So there are some automation tools that we use, such as Selenium, QTP, ALM, JMeter, LoadRunner, etc. So now we'll see what are the different types of software testing. First one is white box testing, second is black box testing, and third one is gray box testing. So white box testing is done by developer, in which developer will test each and every line of the program to check if it is working properly or not. So, white box testing is also called as unit testing because in that we test each and every unit of the program. Also, it is called as open box testing because the code is visible to the developers. Second one is black box testing. Black box testing is process of testing the functionality of an application against the customer requirement specification. So it is done by the test engineer. It is done after the completion of white box testing. After white box testing, the developer will hand over the application or the build to the test engineer, and test engineer will start the black box testing. So in this, the test engineer will analyze the software against the requirement and identify the bugs and send it back to the development team if there are any bugs. So after fixing the bugs, the developers will do another round of white box testing and then send it to the testing team. Third type of software testing is gray box testing. So it is basically a combination of white box testing and black box testing, and it is done by and it is performed by a person who knows coding as well as testing. Now we'll see what are different categories of black box testing. First one is functional testing. Second one is non-functional testing. So in functional testing, we check the application work according to the functional requirement specification, which means we test whether the feature is working or not, or whether it is functioning or not. So functional testing is classified into various categories. First one is unit testing, or we can call it as component testing, in which we check
Outro
every
कौन करना रे?
thoroughly, each and every component thoroughly. After the completion of unit testing, we move on to the integration testing. In that, we check the data flow between the module and check if they are working fine or not. So integration testing is done in two ways. First one is incremental, second one is non-incremental. In incremental testing, we add on the modules incrementally and check if the data flow is proper or not, and if it is able to handle it or not. So in incremental testing, there are two ways. That first one is top down, second one is bottom up. In top down, the next module will be the child of the previous module, and in bottom up, the next module will be the parent of the previous module, and we'll check the data flow between them and check whether if it is working fine or not. After the completion of unit testing and integration testing, we'll move on to the system testing. In this, we test if the end features are working fine or not. In this, the test environment is parallel to the production environment. and we'll check here if the end feature is working fine according to the requirement. Next one is smoke testing. In smoke testing, basically we test the basic and critical features, and if it is usually done before we move on to unit testing or integration testing. Next one is ad hoc testing. In ad hoc testing, we test the application randomly. That is, we do it in a negative way to break the application and check if the application can handle the negative scenarios or not. Now we'll see the second category of black box testing, that is non-functional testing. So here we check the application according to the non-functional aspects. That means we check whether the look and performance and feel of the application is good or not. So non-functional testing has several types, such as performance testing, load testing, stress testing, compatibility testing, and globalization testing as well. So performance testing, we test different aspects such as response time, load, stability, and scalability. In compatibility testing, we check if the application works fine on different platforms such as different operating system, Windows, Ubuntu, etc. Different browsers such as Edge, Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox. Also, if it works fine on different devices such as laptop, mobile, or tablet. After that, there is globalization testing. In this, we check if it supports the different global languages or not. So yeah, after that we'll move on to the remaining stages of SDLC. So Kiran will explain the remaining stages. Kiran,
Hello. After completing this process, we will go for installation and implementation. Following testing phase has been completed, then IT engineers will handle the installation and implementation process, where IT engineers has to make sure that while deploying the software, it matches the client's environment, then ensuring it operates seamlessly. Then we will go for maintenance phase. After the implementation phase is completed, we will go for maintenance. A free service period is typically provided to the client, followed by ongoing support and updates as needed. Uh, in the first 6 months or 12 months, we provide free service. After the agreed period is completed, then we charge to the client if any problem occurs. And this ensures that the software remains functional and up to date over its life cycle.
so let's see
Then,
some questions. So let's see some
hello everyone.
questions. So
Do you guys have any questions? Anyone?
so Srijita is asking what are the different type of SDLC. So Kiran, can you answer that?
Different types of SDLC. So there are a few modules included: waterfall module, VNV module, spiral module, prototype module, derived module, then hybrid module, and agile module. Nowadays, we follow agile module. That is agile. Agile module is a way of building software in small steps called sprints. It is about working closely with the team and the customer, making changes as needed and delivering the software as quickly as possible. Any
Okay,
questions,
so
guys?
okay, Kiran. So Rohit is
So,
asking. Rohit is asking which SDLC model is best and why. Can you answer that?
uh, for current time, agile model is followed. Most of the companies follows agile model. As I have explained earlier, why we follow agile model, because we work in a sprints, like we take requirements anytime we want, and then we work in a sprint where we have to make sure that the functionality is completed on time, the development process and the testing process is completed.
Okay, so Ashish is asking that what are the various testing tools? So Ashish, we use JMeter for performance testing, use Selenium for automation testing. There is Load Runner. So there are so many tools out there you can use. And after that, Nadir is asking, can you tell us about how automation testing works? So we go for automation if the project is large or complex, or we need to perform functional and regression testing repeatedly. So in that case, we go for automation testing. So in automation testing, we use, for example, we use Selenium. So in that, the test engineer will write a script in programming language such as C Sharp, Python, or Java, and the automation tool will run the script automatically and go to the application, and the application will be tested automatically, and it will display the result in the form of reports. So yeah.
Any questions?
So, okay, so
So Nadir is
Kiran, let's
asking, what is regression testing?
okay, so good question. Regression testing is performed to check if the changes made in the code, or if we have modified any features. So that modification or change has affected the already existing functions or not. So for that, to check if there are any side effects of that changes, for that we perform regression testing in in every test cycle. So yeah.
So thank you everyone for staying with us. Please check out the Werq Labs channel. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Thank you.
Thank you so much.